here we have, at the bottom of the back, we have water element. Now there's different parts to this. Over the sacrum is more connected to reproductive issues. Okay, so that could mean hormones, that could mean menstrual cycle, that could relate to pregnancies. All of that stuff shows itself, even though it's all water element, it's all connected to the reservoir of energy for reproduction. That's specifically more towards reproductive functions. Okay, so this gets a little bit more specific, this map on the back. So, and then here we have, this is more connected to the energetic, going with the flow, the life path, the dream. When we're feeling our dream and our life path, we're adaptable because we see the big picture of things. So that's more just in the small of the back, lower small of the back, above the sacrum. Okay? And that's what we meant over here on the face or on the back, just in the 5 element. We're just feeling the overall flow, adaptability, big picture of life. Although you can also see on the face that that's also reproductive on the lips. So there is connection to this. So you're going to, once you know this really well, you'll be able to go, okay, well, which aspect of the face map or back map am I getting information on? Is it just water element generally, or is this reproductive stuff? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's almost like which map is appropriate, the one you got at this place or the one you got at this place. There's construction.
This map is kind of older than this map.
Yes, certainly on the back.
The back, it's been there for a long time.
Yeah,
so
for
the
sure.
face is going to be more present.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So this is going to be more long term.
Yeah, but you could all, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so let's keep going with that. So we're still in water element. We got reproductive, and we've got life path, big awareness. Okay. This also relates somewhere in between here. This is also what the Chinese call the Jing essence. So this is prenatal Jing, is what we came into our life with a bank account from our parents. If our parents are really healthy, then we have this sort of strong constitution. Or if we abused our lives with a lot of drugs and alcohol, then we abused our bank account, so our Jing is low. And that's something we'll more get into in another course. But all of that relates to this reservoir of reproductive water element energy. Okay? But you don't necessarily, even though it's reproductive related, you don't necessarily feel that Jing here. You probably more feel it here, and especially if the person has pains in this area.
Okay.
All right.
Above,
it's above the sacrum.
Kind of in between rib cage and the.
Yeah, like if you put your here and you feel somebody who they've got this kind of a back, and they're tired. You want to wonder about, okay, well, what's the energy? What's the Jing energy like in their body? Are they abusing themselves too much? Okay, and then the next part of the kidney is the actual kidney organ, which is, this is now more the Western physiological side to it, which filters blood. Now this is all connected to this, and it's a little bit more personally connected to, are your kidneys contracted or are they expanded? Is there pain in the actual kidney? Because people might, it's just where your rib cage goes here. You might have a little bit of pain and tenderness here, but not here. So it could mean your kidney is just a little bit contracted or expanded. And so we could look at all of that. So you have your hands on someone's back and you're going in like this. You go, oh, that's a little bit low. And then you go, oh.
Yeah. Exactly.
So this is a little bit low and this is contracted. So now you're seeing a physical connection to an energetic. Right? So that's the kidney. Bladder, reproductive, Jing essence, water element, all kind of divided into a few different places. Okay, rising energy is pretty straightforward. It's where it was in the 5-element map. It relates to both the liver and the gallbladder. So if there's liver stuff going on physically or energetically, you feel it in the same place. So that one's easy. That's on this side. or easier. You don't have to go to all these different areas to know which aspect of the liver. If someone's really tight in here, you'll feel like something's coming out.
Sure.
Okay? So that's liver and gallbladder and all the different functions of the liver. All right. Let's see. Okay. Now, let's get into fire element. Fire element's got a lot of different places too. So fire elements, we can start it here at what it's called the heart regulator or pericardium. Now this is right in this, like right where your bra strap is, basically, maybe a little bit lower. And when this is open, it's a doorway to the fire and the inspiration. So imagine the heart is the absolute passion of a person. But to get there, the door has to be open. And sometimes the door is too open and the fire goes out of control.
Sure.
So the heart regulator is one of the ways we have that adjusts the distance and the space between people, almost like an invisible umbilical cord, because we have a sense if we get too close, it could burn us out.
Sure.
So that's what that's like. That could be empty or full. If it was empty, that person's open. They're open to their passions. Okay? If it's full, then a lot of the times they're just, wait a minute, I can't let any more in here. All right? So that's helpful to understand. Because ultimately all of this relates to our relationship life, everything. Because whatever's going on in all these other organs all gets filtered and all gets initiated through how we connect with other people. That's why earth element is seen as center. So you might have a great retreat and feel like you saw your big picture, you got a vision, and then you get back into relationship, and then the stuff happens again. So that's our tester, so to speak. So, okay, good. So heart regulator, it's right above the spleen, which is nurturing, and we're going to get to that soon. Okay. And so then it leads to the actual heart, our inspiration, our passions in life. And then, okay, I'm still going to stay in fire. So now the fire is burning. And sometimes, I'll give you an example, when the fire, the passion is too much, then we don't understand why we're having like all this stuff.
Sure.
And so we go, why is this happening? Where did this come from? What? And that's the small intestine part. So just like small intestine takes our nutrients and figures out why, where, how we're going to burn them.
Sure.
The small intestine does that energetically in our lives too. When we know why, oh, I get it. I can settle down. My fire goes down a little bit. So that specifically is what small intestine meridian that goes through the scapula does. So if you feel this area, it's typically really full, is more commonly. So this is when people are got almost like a weight on their shoulders. Their scapula is holding up to go, why, where? If I could only just figure this out, I'd be more calm. My spirit, my fire would be calmer, like a candle. So that's when these are usually full. And then we have the triple heater, the upper, middle, and lower burner are the different areas, and there's a meridian that has no physiological base, like there's no organ, specific organ for it. It's just a Chinese energetic. There's a meridian that circulates inspirational fuel to whatever part of the body needs it. So if you have a great laugh with a friend, and you just, I haven't laughed like that in so long, I feel so great, then the triple heater sends that energy to whatever part of the body needs it. So if you've had headaches, and you say, I haven't had a headache since I had that fun with Mary, you know, that's incredible, because the triple heater said, okay, let's send some of that healing energy to the brain and the head or whatever. Or my period was so great after I had that fun time.
Sure, sure.
So that's what the triple heater does. It circulates emotional fuel. So that's fire element. Okay. So we have a dream. We put it into action. It gets circulated. And I'll come back to this one in a minute. And then now we connect with other people. So anytime we have a passion, we connect it with other people. And that gives us our grounding. So if there's something I really want to do in my life, and this is so great, I got to do this. I never thought of it before, but I got all these different ideas. Then I go, what do you think about this? And you go, well, actually, Seymour, I think it's a little esoteric.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to fly. Really? But yeah. And then I get grounded, and I may take your feedback and redo it.
Exactly.
Right? But that's the stomach, the grounding of desires. And then I come back and say, well, what if I do it this way? Because I really want to do this. I really want to persevere. And then you say to me, yeah, that seems a little bit more realistic now. So it takes perseverance to ground the desires and the inspirations and passions we have. And we get that perseverance through support with other people or differences with other people. So it's nice to have support. That'll fuel our desires. Yeah. And a lot of times it's the differences that we have with others that really test our perseverance. So that's earth element. So that's we get connected and nurtured through with other people or not. Ultimately, it's still a nurturing because it nourishes our soul.
Can it be also rationalization, that type of grounding?
Like, give me an example.
Rationalizing, like, you really get fired up in the heat, in the heart element, and you're hitting a little bit of that individuality. Right. But there's also a realistic, rational part of you that needs to ground you and saying, okay, that whole thing may not be possible, but this is. Yeah. And this it can have the same fuel. So
I would say that rationale part is a little bit more small intestine.
Oh, okay.
Figuring out why, where, when, and how. I need to be rational on this. I need to ground my fire.
So it's more small.
The actual testing, though, is with other people. Okay. So when you actually create your business, when you actually are talking in relationship to your mother, your partner, and you're going, okay, what is happening to my passions now?
Sure.
They don't agree with me. And now you're really working it out.
Sure.
It's not just in your mind.
It's not, okay.
So in your mind, it's still small intestine.
Okay.
Okay? And that's the shoulders, because we're thinking. Okay? Yeah, that's a great question. Okay. Now note, the spleen and the small intestine are very close. In Chinese medicine, the spleen is digestion. So we digest relationships. And that's actually what the small intestine does in Western medicine. So I pretty much put these together, but down here, this small intestine is different than here.
Okay.
This small intestine I associate more with the spleen.
Sure.
Digesting through relationships, our relationship to food, which is commonly a reflection of our relationship with other people. And so I almost equate them as the same or slash them the same. Spleen, small intestine, this area of your back, which is the part of your back that we said, I don't know if it actually really is empty, but I just did a quick one.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's certainly a little empty in here. By the way, one of the ways you know is if, let's say I'm checking out, is this emptier or is this emptier? And I actually think I know, but I'm going to ask you, which or at which place do you like my hand better?
There.
There. Okay, so then that's the answer.
Small intestine.
Relationship, small intestine, spleen, connecting, nurturing, and assimilating with people.
Sure.
Your relationships. That's what you're looking for more. And you can get that from, what did we say was from here? Okay. This is full. It's not. Actually, your small intestines are fullest.
I feel like it's very full.
Yeah, it's fearful. So it is this area still. Specifically, more it's the why, where, when's, and how's. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Well, we'll get into recommendations later. Let me finish this first.
I have a daughter going off to college.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah,
that'll do it, Connie.
I think that's what I'm really dealing with in my life. So, yeah, it's all of that.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. Okay, well, we'll get to some recommendations.
Yes and no.
Okay, so that's earth element. And then the last one is metal element. So just to reiterate, we have a dream, we put it into action, we get all inspired, we understand how and when and why it works, we start connecting it with other people, and we endure, we persevere step by step, and now it's done. It's complete. I did it. I set out what it was just a figment of my imagination, and now it's complete. I know how to do it. It's orderly. I've got a system down, and from here, we need to know how to move on, because we could get stuck.
The elimination part.
Yeah. So as important as it is to be able to make things solid with all the details, it's also important to know when to let go of that and make it deeper again, and go through the whole cycle again, more deeply, more deeply, more deeply. Because what a lot of people do is they say, look, the system's worked for so long, it's like, why do I need to upgrade?
Sure.
And there may be some truth to that. And if you find that it's not working, it's time to let go and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I do need a new way to look at this. So those are the tendencies with the elimination part of large intestine, which we feel more in the lower part here. Okay. That's your actually intestines are letting go here. The individuality part of it is more here. It's where the lungs and the heart work with each other. So if someone has a passion, without it being individualized, it's not enough. So the example I commonly use is the impersonators. So they're great singers, phenomenal, but the farthest they ever get is Marilyn Monroe or Elvis. It's not them.
It's not them.
Okay, and they're incredibly passionate souls. Sure. Will they ever put their own uniqueness out? Okay, so uniqueness relates, individuality, our style, relates to lungs. And it works hand in hand right up there with our passions and inspirations. Okay? So that's the whole system. And so then you feed that into one of these venues. So yours is when you harmonize we actually said the why, where, whens, and hows of your passions would be one way to say that. Then your relationships, deep, close relationships with others will improve. And so you go, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, there's other ways to make this more specific. But this is what I want you to start with.
Sure.
So, just on my back, let me just see if she's here.
Sure.
She should be here. Bonja? Oh, can you come back here? So just on me while she's coming back. Come on in, Bonja. Come on in. This is a little bit of a surprise for you. So just feel mine. Okay? Yeah. And you can start, in water element just to do the whole sequence if you want. And just feel what areas are calling you in or sending you away. Bonja, this is Connie.
Hi.
She's just feeling my empties and fulls.
Nice.
And you'll help us. And so what areas call you in or send you away?
Here feels very full to me.
Okay, good.
And this does too.
It usually does. So choose. Which one is more?
Choose?
You gotta choose one. And it can be a guess.
This one.
Okay, and where's empty? There's the place, and you put your hand there.
Mm-hmm.
It feels nice. It feels like it comforts me.
This feels empty.
Okay.
This
That's
feels.
good. Okay. So now you got to figure: is this sacrum? Is this Jing essence, life path, dream? Where, or is it on this side? Is it more to the right? I don't know. You tell me. Because if it's to the right, it's more illumination. I think you're a little lower though.
Yeah, it's definitely more on the right.
What's more on the? So put your hand where you feel most, where you feel is the emptiest. Like really fill me in there with your hand. You know what I mean? In the center there, or across your hand?
Right here in the palm.
Okay.
Right here in the center.
Okay, so
that's kind of what I'm feeling with that.
Yeah.
Right
Okay. Hard for me to do myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say it is. All right. So then you would
this
feel.
feels full, but it feels immediately empty right here,
Uh-huh.
right just below it. So
Okay, so where would you say it is on the map?
assimilation.
Uh-huh. Oh, you'd say it's more up here. I see.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then let's include that with relationships, all right?
Okay.
Assimilation, connection, nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's use that as an example. It'll be a little easier when we do this with
Sure.
Wanja, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, what I found soon was that when you harmonize your, what?
Maybe your new direction.
You know, your activities.
Yeah. Then your assimilation.
Yeah, or
will
connection and nurturing relationships.
Yeah, which is your assimilation.
How you
And
assimilate
how
your
you assimilate
relationships
your relationships
will improve. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So finding new direction will help with your assimilation of your relationships. Finding your direction.
Well, harmonizing my new direction.
Okay.
Because especially if it's full, it means like there's something going on with new direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we use this neutral word.
Sure.
Harmonize. Okay? Now, if you felt that it was hot, then you could use a quality.
Okay.
So when you cool down a little bit, some of this new direction,
sure.
if you felt like it was quivering and kind of fast, so then you let the quality. Well, if you could, can you slow down on some of that new direction, maybe? So we start using the quality of what we feel helps them to be more specific than just generic when you harmonize your new direction, because it could mean so many different things.
Definitely.
Okay. Another way we can do this is mostly on the full, you put in the recommendation for that area. Okay, and I don't know if you remember your 5-element recommendations, but the recommendation for tree energy, frustration, all that constriction, because it wants to be free and loose in springtime. So the recommendation for that, and you can go over all these in your book, so make sure you have all that, is freedom, playfulness. So they go, well, yeah, that's true. I've got some new stuff going on, and I need some harmony, and how do I do it? What in your life do you like that's playful, spontaneous, that helps you to feel like spring is here?
Sure.
And they say, well, I like playing volleyball. Perfect, rising energy. Okay, so then they can come up with the record. So when you play more volleyball and have more fun, then your new direction will be in harmony.
Sure.
And that'll help you to be closer in relationships.
Exactly.
Okay? So the recommendation goes in, all right? So quality, goes in.
Mm-hmm.
The actual recommendation for that. Now we could get nutrition, food recommendations.
All rising energy stuff.
Rising energy stuff. So greens, rising greens, all of that, mushrooms, different grains for those foods. They say, okay, well how volleyball, is there anything else? These foods also vibrate at the frequency that organ likes. So when you have a little hot water with lemon every morning, the liver likes that, and it starts pumping blood up to the heart, and you get that spontaneity and freshness that your body wants. And once you have that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to assimilate your relationships. Stuff like that. So that's that sounds a more practical recommendation, right? Yeah. So that's the new unique thing. Part of this program is that I'm going to help you as best I can to feel that with people.
Exactly.
Because if it's just intellectual information, it misses it. Okay. So Vanja, would you be a model for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want me to lay down?
Yeah, that'd be great. And we'll see what else we can point out. That's good. You're good. So let's go to this side.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we can do the same thing. Just go through them. And this is actually a really nice way to do it, where you're just nurturing, connecting, supporting someone. If you were actually doing massage with them, you'd be doing whatever methods that you'd be doing, and at the same time taking a note and go, how does this feel? Do you like that? Oh yeah, I like that. That's nice. Okay, so you can just go around here and just feel what areas call you in or send you away.
This part seems very empty to me.
Let's see. Okay.
This felt very full here.
Yeah, I saw that when you went there. And even that is, she's uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's a good sign.
It was this whole, especially when I got on this side. Yeah. I noticed that.
Okay, so that, and you can feel a much bigger difference here. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to put your arm down on this side too, Vanja? What's comfortable for you?
There we go.
Like that? That's comfortable for her? What's comfortable for her is what we want.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she's putting her body in a position that is her.
Yeah, exactly.
This is me.
Yeah.
And so we want to feel what that is. And when she does that, she even shows this even more, that it's on this left side. So I get to give you a little more information now. This is always what happens with real people. Left side is more receiving. Right side is more expressing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Right side, we tend to be right-handed, and that's we go against gravity, and we tend to push things away, and our right tends to be the more expressive side. And the left side, energy goes down like our colon and stomach. We receive more on the left side.
Because all of this is receiving.
This is receiving. This is expressing. The liver pumps blood up to the heart. The heart's pumping away, sending out into the world, into the periphery. Food goes down to the stomach, out the intestines this way. So there's more of a downward energy going left, towards the left. So that means this area is full. This is definitely her fire element relating to assimilation. And that's the scapula, right? So when she gets clearer, when she starts receiving her passions and inspirations, and sort of really integrating them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, because of the touch,
Mm-hmm.
she needs to soften
Sure.
about them instead of being hard on herself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what she's doing. And if it was a client, I probably wouldn't say it in those words.
Sure.
I want to explain this to
Yeah.
you. Okay,
Yeah.
or we would talk about it after, and
Definitely.
she's been around. She can learn from this.
Sure.
So when she softens up on why and how and things happen,
Mm-hmm.
and when she can just be more flowing and intuitive with
Mhm.
them, then her what was empty.
Felt it through here, so that would be the life path.
Yeah. Is it on the sacrum too, or is it?
Feels like it's on the sacrum, like
Yeah.
right on that
So that's more the actual creativity and
Creativity.
action.
Oh, okay.
It's a little. So that's a little bit more. So this is a little more kidney
Okay.
and sacrum area. So more in the small of the back is more kidney.
Mm-hmm.
The sacrum is more bladder. So this is
Oh, okay.
more yin in the
Okay.
small of the back. Bladder is more yang. So
Okay.
yang in this context means activation.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to activate her life path.
So for her, it would be when you harmonize your life path,
No, you still start with full.
you would still start. Oh, so you would
So
start
start with
with
full.
the full. So if you harmonize your assimilation,
Uh-huh. Your how, where, when's, or why. Become
Yeah.
more intuitive about them and be softer on yourself about
Yeah.
them.
then your life path will be more clear.
Yeah, and you'll be more the activation of your
Mhm.
life path. She's actually knows her life path.
It's just concerned
It's
about
how well it's how she puts it into action
Okay.
is what she's probably
Sure.
questioning.
Sure.
How do I do it? Where do
Yeah,
I do it?
Exactly.
What are the dynamics within this my life scenario? I got
Yeah.
this going on, I got that going on, all these things in all these different
Mhm.
directions. If I could just be clearer and softer,
Exactly.
kinder to myself in that department, then my life path is. You don't have to do anything
Yeah.
about it. Actually,
Yeah.
the phone calls come,
Yeah.
and she's shown the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So, since this is coming up, going up here, coming down,
Yeah,
and this is kind of a flow,
yeah,
right?
uh-huh,
Wouldn't, if this was stagnant here,
uh-huh,
wouldn't all of these be lacking here?
yeah.
So
I feel
yeah, I
Right.
felt that, but
that's
my
great.
root
You
starts
got it.
there. So,
Yeah, that's good. This is the emptiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in here.
So it would be, yeah. So it would be all of that. Wouldn't it be assimilation, starting with assimilation, the
Yeah.
how, what's, where, it's, why, and then the going and grounding your desires, that would be out of whack too.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then the elimination
Yeah.
of that.
And you're getting that, however you're getting it, it's not always the case.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you're onto something that is perfect for her.
Sure.
For her, your recommendations can be, how do we get this energy to
How do you
get on down and
reverse
complete
that?
the cycle?
Okay.
Okay? But with someone else, you could go here and stomach's
And
really
full.
full. So that's not the case.
That wouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
at all.
it's something
it
else.
Just it's very individual. then.
Yeah, and you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
that's
feel
great.
it.
That's really, really great.
Yeah.
So then we can make recommendations for this.
Mm-hmm.
If she's got a lot of upward energy and it's staying up here, what are some things she could avoid, just food-wise? So she says, okay, well, yes, that's great. How do I do that? Tell me about my food.
Because it's too much. I mean,
Mhm.
you would
Yeah.
be avoiding the sugars, which is
Avoiding
too much.
sugars.
Avoiding the high. You want to be having more grounding
That's right.
vegetables and
That's
fruits,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Right.
The grains, the
Yeah.
nightshade grains, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so nightshades would be against
Mhm.
this, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so, and what if she was a coffee drinker?
Oh,
Right.
decaf.
well, we're thinking about, standard, normal people
Sure.
who are coming to you, and they,
Yeah.
they have 2
Most people
cups of coffee a day, and they're
Yeah,
saying, so
exactly.
what do I do? Well,
Yeah.
I can make you, some vegetable recommendations, and what about coffee?
Yeah.
Because the more extreme we are, in that food,
Yeah.
not the
Mhm.
food pyramid, seesaw to your
Mhm,
topic,
mhm.
the more difficult it is for us to make whole foods recommendations.
Yeah.
A carrot's going to go only so far
Yes.
if a person drinks 3 glasses of wine every day.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, you can look up all the herbs in the world that are going to help the kidney.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person's drinking coffee and taking wine and alcohol, smokes pot occasionally,
Sure.
sorry,
Yeah.
this is whole foods and nutrition. A carrot can only go so far.
Yeah. What if they don't want to? What if they say, okay, well, I'll settle for decaf coffee, or I mean, something in moderation.
Yeah.
Going
Do what
for
you can.
kind of. I mean, do you start off recommending over here, or do you start off moderation?
Depends on the person.
Okay.
Generally, I have them be hungry for more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they come for a session. Okay, well today, all I'm going to say is, use decaf.
Sure.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, I want more. Let's see how that goes.
Exactly. Try it. Just do it.
See how you do it. See how you feel.
A lot of people can't do it. That's their.
There's
their
no
problem.
point in giving them
Yeah.
any more.
Exactly.
If you really want more, fine. You can have the carrot too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. Right. But we want them hungry for more. Generally,
Sure.
that works more of the time. And then they say, hey, you know what? I actually felt different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped, and I like that you went slow, and I can integrate that into my life.
Sure.
Now I'm ready for more.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, I've got a recipe for you.
Mm-hmm.
Cook these vegetables, da, 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 da,
There you
da.
go.
And you just gradually do that. However, some people are in more serious conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Some doctors have given up on them. Sorry, we tried the chemo, we tried the radiation. You're on your own. See you later. I don't know.
Sure.
In those scenarios, the more extreme their condition is, a lot of times we have to be more extreme if we really want to help them. Say, look, do you want to stay here? The doctors gave up. Do you want to stay here? Follow these recommendations for 3 to 4 months while your blood changes and stick with it.
Sure.
Even if food tastes terrible to you, you're not used to it. You're used to sauces and wine sauces. Okay, you're going to get sweet potato sauce. It's not the same. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Chew. Eventually you change your taste buds, you change your insides as well, you change your soul, your energy's better, and you'll live.
Sure.
Instead of die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In that case, really.
Yeah.
And then and they actually, that is their motivator.
Mm-hmm.
Their extreme situation is their motivator, so they do it. And that's the only way they could get to this place to health, was to create such an extreme situation.
Sure.
So it's always different.
An extreme person usually will go to the other side of extreme just because of their personality.
For sure.
So, I mean, and do you deal with personality stuff?
Oh, you have to. You absolutely have to.
I mean, that's entering like more counseling and...
yes and no.
I mean, there's a very fine line. I've seen in my work, there's a really fine line.
What's your work?
Well, I'm a massage therapist, so I also do life coaching.
Okay,
so I
see
a really fine line.
Yeah.
So I think that this is really good to integrate this.
Well, you can integrate it into their body.
Mm-hmm.
And so just when it starts getting too heady,
Mm-hmm.
you can say, you know what, this is the condition of your pancreas.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about. You change your pancreas, then the blood flow that goes to your brain is completely different. Your thinking changes.
Sure.
So let's keep this simple.
Mm-hmm.
Let's regulate the blood sugar level and stop the drama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah. Exactly.
So you can always do that, having this more physical body connection.
So on the more extreme, say she had the really full, small intestine, would you recommend cleanses? Or would you do, like you said, like the nettles for the liver, just very...
Well, I tend to be more tonic. Because I just find that when people do too many things, it actually makes them worse off.
Sure.
And 30 years of getting to a certain condition doesn't go away with a weekend cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
So people say, well, I'm going to do this cleanse this weekend, and that's it. I mean, my past is going to be behind me. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything's possible.
So funny. Sure.
And the probability is unlikely. So, to me, the slowest cure is the best cure.
Mm-hmm.
And that means every day we're curing ourselves.
Sure.
Every day we're healing.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we're conscious of how we can make a better balance today.
Mm-hmm. Can that be kind of, I mean, some people look at that as, okay, this can be a kickstart if I do this ultra cleanse or whatever.
Yeah. So, and that's okay, because we don't want to say, no, don't do it.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. So I'm all excited about...
You can't do that.
See, yeah.
No.
So that's where you take into account their personality.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at simplifying this. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Okay, I use this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So is the effort of me saying, this probably isn't going to do much for you, is that really going to help their situation?
Sure.
Maybe it's better for them to just go, yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just generally about cleanses, more steadfast constitutions from body reading tend to do better with fast, quick cleanses than a lot of the more flexible palm tree type folks with the thin fingers and and more frail, sensitive conditions. They tend to get wiped out from doing cleanses.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways I look at just their constitution, but also it's their condition too, because there's a lot of steadfast constitutions who have really weakened their body. Now they're actually really sensitive too. So just take a look at that. Most of the time, people I find in this society, especially in cities, are taking too many supplements and not enough way of life.
They want that quick fix.
Yeah. And I'd recommend reading the China study.
I did.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, that's great.
It.
So that's a real nice background we can give people. Look, one of those studies that show this.
Yep.
Supplements. There's no research to show the supplements help people.
Exactly. Yeah, that blew me away.
Which is a very healthy bank account news. Okay.
Finally, we have scientific proof for all the scientific minds out there, and energetic proof.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's those are some of the things we would cover now, and just something else. Now she's worked on this quite a bit. Okay. When I first knew Vonda, she was a lot harder in here. Okay. So when you feel, I just want you to feel this. When it feels like taut, really taut, and almost bony, like a bone instead of tissues on, then usually that's a sign of a mineral imbalance, okay? Which we all have to a degree, because if we didn't have a mineral imbalance, we'd actually live forever. Sure. Because it's so maintaining alkalinity in the body is what we're doing. What happens is the heart closes a little bit and protects itself, almost slows down the circulation of blood, because if too much blood goes to the kidney, then we lose more minerals. So I find that a lot of people, and you'll see it sometimes in elderly people, where they start hunching. Okay, that's actually their body's intelligent way of saying, wait, slow down, heart, contain, tighten up a little bit in here, because you're losing minerals too quickly.
Can that be part of our triple?
That's right. Triple heater is going, wait a minute, let's just keep some of the energy up here, because it's not ready to flush itself out. The kidneys. So in situations like that, anything that acidifies, and just to be clear, acidifies means we're never really acid, we're just less alkaline than ideal. And that means all of us. It's just to what degree. So any factors in their life and diet that puts them away from alkalinity really has to be addressed. And they're the extremes on the cycle. It's either animal foods and too much salt, or it's too much alcohol, or too much sugar. So those are the big ones that most people do. But there's other ones like nightshade vegetables, or smoking, or there's other ones too. But that's something to take into consideration whenever you feel that. And also you can check with the actual kidneys. Now, so Vonja's a really good example that she's tight in here. Right in that kidney organ. So she responds well to ginger compress.
Sure.
That, that ginger solution, because that loosens up the kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually good for tight or loose kidneys. It actually regulates them.
Mm-hmm.
But that really, really helps her. And once the kidneys are open and circulating and they're in better shape, then her heart goes, oh, great, let's loosen up now. Because this kidney knows what to do with us, with all this blood.
Sure.
So she's a really good example for seeing a tendency that she consistently works on to manage this.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll feel that the more you start listening for it. It's pretty common. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that it seems to be a little more common in women, I've found, than men. And it's interesting because women have more calcium issues, mineralization issues than men do. Men may have other stuff going on. So that's related to here. That it's almost like that area almost feels calcified. But it's a way of holding on to calcium, actually. Another important back assessment indicator is what Shizuko Yamamoto called sugar ropes. This is when the erector spinae muscles get taut, sensitive to touch, and feel like ropes that slip away when palpated. They're full areas. They're most commonly found over the left pancreas area and the right liver area, and their presence anywhere shows which organs are most sensitive to sugar. Lifestyle and food recommendations for these areas will create vital health. Ideally, a little sugar is manageable by the body. Improving the body's core strength, though, through chi-building exercises and healthy lifestyle practices, keeps us healthy without being overly sensitive to sugars or any other foods. So the ideal is to actually make the body stronger from the inside, so little ups and downs and extremes here and there are much more manageable and create no problems at all for the body. And in fact, we stay healthy despite challenges. The following are chi-building exercises that help us to change some of the conditions spoken about in these classes. It's important to emphasize deep breathing, quiet breathing throughout all of these exercises. Breathing through the nose and maintaining the body alignment. If you're interested in these exercises and any other information, just go to the websites at the end of this video and I'll be happy to give you more information. Hope you enjoyed it and talk to you soon.